Hey, Big Brother fans, we have got your veto meeting results. And yes, Leah Peters did play her golden power of veto, and she messed up Quinn Martin's plans to evict Angela Murray after making her the known house target. I'm going to tell you what went down, what everybody was talking about, and who is on the block right now. And oh my gosh, it is better than you can imagine. So Leah went to Quinn on Saturday after she won the veto, and then they talked again on Sunday, and she was lobbying him, saying she wanted to take Angela off the block, and that meant he would have to make a renom. At the same time this was going on, Joseph was drawing a huge, glittery, shiny bullseye on himself to a lot of different house guests. And of course, I told you before, he had bragged to Chelsea and some others about his Dr. Will Kirby win at the end strategy and revealed that he had been sandbagging and throwing comps. And Mackenzie was so annoyed at Joseph on Sunday because he came and told her she's not a threat to his game. Joseph said he could beat her in the end because his social game is so much better. And then he said pretty much the same thing to Chelsea. Joseph was digging himself a hole for no apparent reason when all he had to do was keep his mouth shut. Leah and Quinn saw him doing it. They were trying to figure out how they could stop him, but he didn't stop. And Joseph also took a chunk out of Angela's self-esteem, which is not too hard to do most days. We talked about it here. Some people think Joseph bullied Angela. I did a whole video on it if you want to watch it, but I personally don't think she did. I did watch all of Joseph's comments to her on the live feeds. She went, Angela asked him for his help with Quinn, and then Joseph was honest about why he couldn't do anything for her and, told her she just has to win arena. He was polite, but honest. Joseph reminded Angela she has blown up at Quinn several times, called him out in front of other house guests, and Angela has blown up at others in the house. Week one, we all saw her losing her damn mind, mocking Matt and accusing her new allies of lying to her. And then, of course, Angela turned on Tucker, the guy who was her human shield for weeks. So Joseph wrote Angela a little reality check that she didn't like. She ran crying to Leah, saying he was brutally honest. I don't think he was brutal. I do think he was honest. And still, Angela was around the house pouting on Sunday, glaring, sitting behind her sunglasses, glaring when they were having mocktails. She was pouty. And, she even sat in the bathroom alone at one point doing this villainous monologue about how if Joseph can start a narrative, so can she. And I think what Angela really meant was she's ready to start some shows in the house. Leah told Quinn Angela's her number one person, which should have been one more clue to the curly-haired HOH that Leah has zero interest in him as a man and is using Quinn just to advance her game. But of course, he didn't pick up on it. He is so starry-eyed and obsessed. I literally think Leah could poop in the middle of the HOH bed and he'd thank her and roll around in it and tell her it smelled like roses. That's where they're at. So that's how things were shaking down Sunday. And then things started shifting in the wee hours of this morning. Leah wanted to use it. Several people in the house wanted her to use it so that Joseph would be the renom. And of course, if she did that, that meant Angela would be locked in for jury house, and Quinn and a bunch of other house guests don't want to deal with her antics if they're stuck in there with her. After Angela's evicted, which I'm sure she will be soon, she might just go to the jury and just chill, enjoy the rest of her summer, or she may be confrontational and unhinged there, and there's really no telling what Angela you're going to get. She's like a box of chocolates. So heading into the veto meeting, of course, we had Chemo, Rubina, and Angela on the block, Quinn wanting Angela out. But he did say he'd be happy if Rubina was out because he knows she's going to come for him because he's nominated her and he was part of the group that flipped to take out Tucker, her bed buddy. So T-Core was initially okay when Quinn said his target was Angela, but then T-Core flipped again and was vowing to target Quinn the first chance she got. And if Chemo or Rubina went out, I'm sure that would ramp up. So Leah was making a case to Quinn that Angela is a good jury vote for her, but Quinn was trying to dissuade her, and she was asking if he's trying to do her out of a jury vote. And then Quinn said she'll have plenty of time to get other jury votes. So anyway, Leah was pushing, and then Quinn saying if she used the veto, he was going to do a random draw for the renom. And of course, Leah is going to be safe either way since she has the POV, but that could make her look bad to the house. Angela is a house guest that almost everybody has agreed they don't want in jury. Quinn certainly doesn't want her in jury or in the house for another week. I mean, Angela might be the bitterest juror of all time in Big Brother. So Quinn talked to Cam and Joseph and was kind of low-key talking about needing someone to volunteer just in case Leah played the veto. Quinn was actually hinting for Joseph to volunteer, but after Cedric and Tucker volunteered and were evicted, anybody in the house raising their hand to go up on the chopping block has got to be a moron. And then Mackenzie, Chelsea, and Robina were actively kind of pressing for Joseph to be the renom because he had ticked them all off. And then in the wee hours of Monday morning, Leah let the house guest have one-on-ones to lobby her about what they were hoping she'd do with her golden power of veto. Joseph told Leah he'd prefer she not use it and said if he won HOH, he'd target Robina, which is nonsense because Joseph keeps telling everybody he's not planning to win any comps. Angela didn't directly ask Leah to use the veto on her, but reminded her they did have a final 2 deal. Chelsea told Leah again about Joseph's bragging and said she's okay if she plays it or not, and if anybody on the block is evicted, that's fine with her. Robina was pushing the all-girls alliance idea to Leah, which means a guy should go. And obviously the all-girls alliance is important to Robina now that her meat shield boyfriend Tucker is gone. T-Cor and Leah talked about Joseph targeting her, but Leah told T-Cor that Joseph's a house target now, so that shouldn't be a concern. Interesting, T-Cor didn't ask her to pull Chemo or Robina down off the block with her veto. Quinn didn't want her to play it. He didn't want Angela to stay and come after him, but it's not up to Quinn. Leah knew if she played it, of course, he'd forgive her. So then there was, in the wee hours of the morning, Leah considering if the whole house might be mad at her if she pulled Angela off the block. And Leah told Quinn that everybody might be saying, Leah, F you for sending Angela to jury with them. And of course, that would affect, possibly Leah getting jury votes if she makes it to final 2. But then in a total blindside to Quinn and some of the other house guests, Leah went ahead and used her veto. They held the veto meeting around noon, Big Brother time on Monday, Labor Day. And when the feeds came back up, it was to the stunning news. Angela is off the block. Leah saved her final 2 pal/surrogate mother figure. And it kind of looks like Allison Grodner might have had some of her production flunkies pushing for this outcome because Leah made a comment about the DR wanting her to use the power of veto, and we all know they interfere. So Quinn renommed Joseph. Wow. And that could be a big problem for Mr. Mustache. I would have to say, based on what he's been saying around the house, Joseph is at a very high risk for eviction. He has ticked off Angela, Mackenzie, and Chelsea, and that's 3 of 4 votes needed to evict this week. Leah would likely vote with them to make it a 4. Cam might as well because he would just be happy not to be on the block. And so this definitely shook up the game, and Leah kept the streak going of 7 straight weeks of the power of veto being played. After the meeting, Leah told Chemo, Chelsea, Angela, and Robina that she was not going to let any man tell her what to do with the power that she won. That is another big clue for Quinn that I'm sure he's going to ignore. All right, that's it. Leah played the veto. Angela's off the block. Joseph is the renom heading into Thursday night's AI Arena and live eviction. Joseph will be sitting next to Robina and Chemo. And I bet this week he might actually play a comp to win if he has any idea he's at risk. But then again, Joseph and his hubris might be out of control, and he might think his social game could carry him through. I wish him luck with that. All right, check back soon for more Big Brother live feeds, updates, and insights.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.